Yeah, we just need to bring back degeneracy. I'm so dead ass.
No, we do need to be degenerate.
Yeah,
you need the lights off. You need to be funky. You need to have the eyelash off the side. Like heels in the hand. If you still cute at the end of the night, you win.
You need a walk of shame. Like we need all of this. We need this, right?
Because the kids don't be having sex or drink
right? And the numbers show.
I want to thank every single one of you for coming out here today. I want to give a huge shout out. Thank you, Dom and Toms. They over here in this corner. If you want to shop some vintage pieces,
I bought something.
Made it. The snow tried to take us out, but we got back. Okay, we made it back. And then we got the homies from the DMV. Or y'all just doing DC? Can I do DMV overall? DMV? Okay, we got the homie from the DMV. Just DC? My bad.
That's crazy.
We got Aaron Fragrances up here from DC and Virginia. I got you. We got the Maryland one up here. And we got a lot. Said that. Ooh, what? Nothing. I thought so. So Elijah is also with Love on Wax as well. So if you want to make sure you pick up some $5 vinyls as well and vinyl slips.
Vinyl slip mats.
Vinyl slip mats. Perfect. I got it. Boom. Dor Paris. Pascal, where'd you go? Yeah. So we also got Dor Paris. So make sure you try out some Haitian ginger tea because the feedback y'all gave me about the event is we're not all coffee drinkers. Okay. Here. Found them right there. Got it. And then also we got Casey of Casey D and Nails. That is luxury press on nails for the everyday baddie. Get into it. Yeah. And then,
isn't that what y'all do?
Yeah. I'm glad you got the right finger too. Look at that, the middle finger, not the. It's the middle finger.
You're trying. Yeah,
I'm
trying to be young.
You're appropriating their culture.
In the year of our Lord 2025, and we're doing that. Got it. And then, last but not least, if you would like to try out some Leroy's blend as well, you can self-serve in the back. But if you're also like, yo, I want to take some home with me, I have finally did my first batch of whole beans, so I bagged it as well. So you can get that at $15 rather than the $24 online.
Only $15.
Only $15.
Spoken word,
right? However, if you also choose to buy from online, do not forget buying Leroy's blend online means that you're also donating to an HBCU scholarship fund. We understand that those are under attack right now, so put some impact behind your dollar too. So that's all the big pitch out of that. But today, I have a wonderful, wonderful panel of world builders, and some people are like, "What do you mean? You say world builders? What is that?" Well, when you think about world builders, these are folks who are inviting you into this own space, whether it's a political space, whether it's a book club, whether it's the nightlife space. And these folks are across the board being able to do that, whether it's trying out some ginger tea for the first time, getting used to some new fragrances, trying to look good. If you're trying to type clickety-clacketing and your nails look good, okay, you got the word of the everyday baddie, right? And so these are folks that have obviously created wonderful brands, have done some intentional work with creatives. They're creatives in their own rights. And I'm excited for y'all to be in this space because I do think where we're going into 2026 with the midterms, where we're currently at, especially as a Black community, and trying to figure out what are some of the things that we need now, what are some of the accessible ways, and what are different ways that people are bringing us together. I think that's more important than anything at this point in time. And so I'm excited to see what y'all are able to get from this conversation, but I'm excited to hear how y'all are also going to be in conversation with one another. And so thank you all so much one more time, because y'all all, well, two of you came from Baltimore and Maryland. So thank you for making it up through the long journey. Thank you for hopping in last minute. Scotty Beam cannot be with us today.
You don't say.
You're not Scotty.
That's crazy.
Oh,
this whole time.
Oh.
That's crazy.
Scotty, your voice has gotten so deep. We don't ask questions. You're right. My bad. I forgot where we're at. But in reality, I'm excited for this conversation. So welcome to Spill the Beans. And shout out also to Alex Hillman. He is the organizer for Indie Hall. This is an awesome community space.
Great space.
Oh, period.
Bring it to Baltimore.
Talk about. You heard that? You heard it here first.
So let's talk.
But in reality, Spill the Beans was done in collaboration. I understand how people engage with coffee it is kind of passive. Like we have it at meetings, we have it on the way to work. We're just like, let's get it on the go because what? America runs on Dunkin'. But what does it mean to sit your ass down and slow down? And so for those of you who are new to Leroy's blend is named after my pop-up Leroy. Over the summer, we would go fishing, and he would always say fishing is a practice of patience and presence. And so whenever I make my coffee, that is also my way of also celebrating him, but also giving myself some time not to also be on the move all the time. Working in education, it means people need us all the time. And so when's my selfish 30 minutes? So I do my 10-10-10 rule in the morning. Part of that is stretching, journaling, and then also making my own coffee in the morning too, which is my time for me before the world needs me. And so I encourage anybody in this room to have a practice of your own selfishness, healthy selfishness, but also be still and practice stillness. So whatever that looks like. So that's what I want you to feel whenever you engage with Leroy. So thank you all. Yes. Okay. But
didn't know I was about to get a therapy session today.
You're welcome. But once again, thank you all for showing up and showing out. You did not need to be here because I'm competing with brunch and church, but you still made it. And so thank you for that. We are going to get started. So I'm actually going to have you each individually introduce yourself. What do you do and what's the world you would like to see? Cool? Jordan, you're starting off.
First of all, can like the three other Jordans in this space just wave their hand?
Can the real Jordan please stand up?
See, so
We already standing up.
now depending on what like parts you guys sing, we could do a quartet, perhaps soprano, because we might not get the higher register. Anyways, sorry. Jordan Levy is my name. Do a lot of things, have done a lot of things, but right now I'm serving as the communications director for Councilmember Nicholas O'Rourke, who's of the Working Families Party, at-large council member. So we reps the whole city. In a word, we are on the left. Like we on the left of the left. And if we had our way, we would do more left than we can do right now. Mm-hmm. Anyhow, it's our business. And prior to that, I was working at WHYY. I was a reporter at Billy Penn, which was supposed to be a youth-focused outlet. It's local print news, so it's hard to do anything for youth in that space, which is part of what I'll kind of talk about, because right now I'm moving from public information in the news sense to the political sense. And the difference is startling, but also the opportunities to work with people have really expanded, because I don't have a 70-something-year-old telling me what to do at WHYY. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the traditional media if we want to. So anyways, I'll pass it on.
I don't know how I'm supposed to follow that up.
And don't let her fool you.
Yeah, come on now.
Hi, everyone. I'm Niccara Campbell, soon to be Niccara Campbell Wallace. My fiance
Amen.
is here. Super excited.
Love.
I do a lot, but my full time, what keeps me looking nice and pays my bills is my 9 to 5 or 9 to whatever. And I am the executive director for Rolling Sea Action Fund, which is the super PAC to the Congressional Black Caucus Political Action Committee. What we focus on is turning out districts that have 8% or more Black voting age population and making sure they know their rights, because that 8% can really make the difference in these congressional, Senate, and presidential races. So that's my job. I've been in politics for 15 years. I don't know how I'm still here. I don't know if my life. That is very clear to everyone. But what keeps me alive and rejuvenated is my bookish influencing, which I do through Mahogany Book Podcast Network. I run ... But Make It Books, a podcast where we're bookishly healing through life. So we use books as a premise to heal. So we talk about ambition, self-care, love, anything through the premise of books. And so that's what I do. That's what sustains me. And I'm low-key a kitchen witch. I like to cook. I love to cook. I love bringing people together at my table. That's where I think you can get the power of the third space. So that's me.
That was dope. Yeah. Also, we need to shout out because that hand real heavy right now. Show that rock off.
Yeah. He did a good job.
Yeah. Damn Skippy did. That's dope. Yeah, my name's Elijah Ray. I just be doing shit for real. So don't look at me like that. That's crazy. So yeah, I work in education. My career is in education. I work in Montgomery County Public Schools doing community engagement. Was a teacher for quite some time, did some ed policy stuff at Temple University, just kind of been all over the place. But that's actually my side hustle. My real job is that community engagement piece and kind of speaking that through all the different things I do, whether it's through photography, whether it's through Love on Wax, vinyl party that we started here in Philly however many years ago. I actually don't remember. 5, 6-ish years, something like that. I don't know. Friends and Fam, a party that happens on a monthly basis here in Philly at Kung Fu Necktie with Matthew Law, my brother, as a writer through my writing. And I guess the piece that I've really been working on and thinking about is how to position the artists and the creatives as the true abolitionists, the people who really creatively think about how we change and impact the world we exist in. And making sure that they feel empowered. I think oftentimes, you always hear the trope, don't date a DJ, them niggas is crazy. Or like, all right, okay, relax.
Or they're hoes.
Like, don't bring up.
But I know, I'm about to bite my own tongue already there. But I think we really have to think about how the people who actively and on a consistent basis bring people into a room, bring Black and brown people into a room and position their joy. That is activism, right? And how do we then take that a step further and engage those same people, engage that same audience outside of the room, outside of the sweaty, sticky, vodka-soaked dance floor. So, that's me. I just be doing a bunch of shit for real. I'm a professional yapper.
Part-time podcast nigga.
Part-time podcast nigga, yep. And just a devilishly handsome young man. So, that's me. God, I look
like truly and honestly. Right.
So humble.
A humble man, I tell you.
Yes, and a very humble, non-ego driven person.
Yeah, totally.
That's who I am.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah.
Oh, we are in for a good time for this panel. One, thank you for all the impactful work that each and every one of you do. I am such a fan of each and every one of you. Elijah on occasion. However, something I think about often is like the intersection of culture and policy. And something that I talk around often is how culture changes before policy ever does. And so something I've been thinking around, particularly talking to you starting in the nightlife. So you said, little chuckle over here. It's talking about you in a nightlife space and also curating a book space as well. I'm curious to know, like, what kind of culture have you seen shifting in your current locuses of control in terms of the spaces of influence that you have, whether nightlife or within the book club as well, or for the bookish hotties, as you would say?
Because reading is hot.
It is.
Per.
Yes. And niggas don't be reading no more. That's why everybody.
That's
be
the problem.
so
That's why they
ugly.
act like that.
Well,
Yeah, no.
we can get into the literacy rates right after. There's correlation there.
I think specifically this past election in Philadelphia, this was my first time experiencing what it looked like being in a battleground state, and that shit was crazy. That I think was the most outrageous. And there was a DJ friend who DJ'd in front of City Hall, and there was like people on roller skates, and there was like stripper poles, and like I can't remember if it was Quavo, but it was I'm fairly certain it was one of the Migos telling people to go vote. He can't vote because he's a felon. And I just thought that shit was wild, right? My initial reaction was like, why the fuck at 8:00 in the morning do I want to be in front of City Hall watching a DJ and too overstimulated? But then it immediately made me think about the level of reach that had on even the non-traditional voters, right? The people who haven't been civically engaged in any capacity. And that's only in hindsight. That's probably something I thought about like 2 weeks ago, because that shit's still crazy. Why are there stripper poles?
It makes sense. Get your butt to the polls. You got the poll. The poll is
Wow. Butts
wait,
polls.
did I do it?
Yeah.
Did I do
You
it?
got it. You got
Did
it.
I do it right?
Wait, you
Yeah.
kind of ate that. You did that.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Nom.
It makes sense.
But
Just needed their wings along with it too, and I would have been sold. Okay.
at 8 a.m.?
Strip club wings. at 8
Listen,
a.m.,
straight
might
cup
eat.
wings, they hit, man. If you
No,
go to
they
Blue
do.
Flame in
Oh,
Atlanta, the
absolutely.
buffet is lit.
Oh, it's beautiful.
You get the best chicken and breakfast buffet at a strip club.
Rest
I don't
in
know
Peace
why.
Stadium, by the way.
Wow.
Oh,
Where all
wow.
the DC people at? Rest in Peace Stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bring
Diamond
Stadium back.
was that girl.
Yeah. But All right, back on topic.
Focus, we're gonna focus.
Forgot to add the ADHD to the conversation in my introduction. But I think it gave me an opportunity to really think, how do we move forward and continue to move the needle for these people who've been engaged in other ways, right? People want to commune. I think we're getting to a age and space where it's like we don't want to always be at the party till 3, 4 a.m. Shout out to last night and the hangover I currently have.
You're doing amazing, Sweaty.
But I think we want more, right? Yes, we want to go out and drink. We want to do the things. We also want to learn. We also want to engage in spaces like this where we get to commune and build relationships with people who might fill the gaps for the things in our own lives. And so it's really had me kind of processing at the parties that happen late night. People are drunk, people are doing whatever they're doing, but how do I continue to bring them into the closed circle of to have a better scope on what we can do for our own communities? Rather, what can we do engaging our neighbor, the next door neighbor, Miss Janice, who's 70 years old and is still dying on that hill that just Black people need to vote because people died for it. And that, that's true. But how do we then engage, the younger college students who's like, all right, nigga, that was 3 generations ago. Like, why do I need to vote now? Right? How do we put people in a space to feel that this is a civic duty to continue to make change? So, yeah.
And I think for me in the bookish space, it's very interesting because when people look at books, they feel like they have to read like some type of Art of War or something like that. Like, how y'all Black men love Art of War, child. But I really want they're using books as a way to like virtue signal, like, look how smart or how of the world I am. And that's not the point of reading. The point of reading is to explore and to understand different viewpoints. Because even in our book club, like, there's different books we're reading, we're like, I wouldn't do that. But guess what? Just because you wouldn't do that doesn't mean there's someone not out in the world that also is doing that. So it teaches empathy and understanding, because although that is some wild behavior, there are people who do that or behave that way. And it allows you to understand outside of yourself, especially in today's world where you cut people off. If they're like, if I don't like it, snip it. Like, I'm over it. I don't want to engage with that person. Now, there are strong boundaries that you should have within yourself about who you will not engage with. Mine is deadbeat dads. I don't hang out with friends who are deadbeat dads. That's my thing. That's my hard line. But there's other lines I'm willing to engage with you on so you can understand, which is the reason why Trump got elected the second time. Because we just ostracize people. It's loneliness. Men are facing a loneliness epidemic. They don't feel like they're of the community. Women are feeling like the men aren't of the community. The people who are queer are feeling like people aren't really standing up for us. It's all a mess. So books offer that gateway. And also romance. I think more men should read romance. Romance books are really good. First of all, it's giving you free game. So if you don't have no game, the romance books will get you there. But also memoirs, seeing other people's points of views, audiobooks. Like, it's so amazing to see how much I've been able to break down within my own personal self, but then also people around me. So I just tell everybody to keep reading. It makes you hot. It makes you get some empathy. Empathy's hot.
Can I jump in real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I just want to add on to that point of broadening perspective, right? I think so. I'm from Maryland. I'm from Montgomery County, Maryland, which is constantly touted as like number 3 most diverse cities in the country. Where I'm from, Germantown, Gaithersburg, I think is the number one the number one most diverse small city in the country. And I think that diversity is just used as a plot point, right? Whereas through books, through reading, through engaging in these nightlife spaces, especially in a city like Philadelphia that is equally as diverse, those communities, that level of understanding is more deeply engaged, right? I have deep relationships with people who come from very different backgrounds and have very different viewpoints, instead of there's a pocket of Eritrean people that live over here in this corner. There's a pocket of Venezuelan people that live in this corner, and none of these people ever interact with each other, right? So I think, to your point, it's extremely impactful in these spaces because we now get an opportunity to learn more without the the added bonus of traveling and, you know, being a passport bro or a visa vixen, as I like
Not
to
a
put it.
visa
I've heard of
vixen.
a visa vixen. What is that?
I made it up. He coined that phrase.
You said
He was there. You know what I'm talking about. So
we were like, what's the equivalent?
Because I don't know. Passport bro is not a good annotation.
No. To be clear, none of it is. None of it is.
But
You said clean it up.
You see how my face is like, what we talking about?
What we talking about?
but that provides us an opportunity to learn, right? And I think we have to engage in the spaces that are right here and accessible. Everybody can't travel. I didn't get my passport till like a few years ago, right? And the way that we can open up our viewpoints is through that education. Or I swear, like just having a shot with the random nigga next to me who I've never met before. And now we've striked up conversation and talked about all types of different things, right? And so, I just wanted to add on to that point. Yeah.
No, and I love that conversation between the both of y'all too, because I think there's a cultural piece, but you also gave a little bit more nuance, and you spoke to that tension of like, there's going to be a bunch of different views. You don't know everybody who's coming to your party, right? You're like, yo, there are so many different types of people. How people are going to interpret the books that they read are going to be different, and in that vantage point. But oftentimes we move that to a coalition building space or a policy and organizing space, specifically for like you two, you're thinking a little bit more around like, I'm wondering, Jordan, for you, what is it like to have to do some coalition building? Because the politic that the Working Families Party has is not also a popular politic. I think people commonly don't know how to subscribe the politic to the thing that they enjoy. People like affordable housing, right? People like stability, right? But people don't know outside of what they're just like, oh, well, just vote Democrat, vote Democrat. How are you also able to kind of think around these dissenting views or these competing views on trying to get people to kind of have like at least a baseline of agreement?
Such a good question. And I think the hardest thing for me is going to be not naming politicians. But
Name them. Say every name.
Not while I'm up here.
see,
Touche.
I'm glad I have a little bit of cover.
Amen. Pass the biscuits.
And you know, I think especially in this era, because my boss got elected in 2023, the last local round of elections when Mayor Parker was also elected. So the first year was under Biden. It was through that federal election. And seeing the switch over from 24 to 25 has been so stark. There are folks we did not have to talk to and that we wouldn't want to talk to in 24. In 25, there have been conversations and reaching out. And I'll just say that, and okay, well, this is not a secret. Shout out like Rep. Amon Brown, nice person. Politically not in the same space. I think the WFP endorsed his last challenger. And he's like the best at convening people in a non-political sense, in doing the constituent services that really connect people. He's kind of unrivaled in terms of his reach on social media, in person, on his block, because he's been around from where he's been around forever, which is great value to that in politics, right? And these are the kind of, because no one on the center left is what I'll broadly say we're a part of, on the left end of that. No one's talking about cutting SNAP, you know? So it's about I think the coalitions are often shaped by the conditions. For sure. And I imagine at the federal level, the same thing is true.
I love Working Families Party. You guys are doing amazing work. Your organizing is bar none. Like I tell everybody all the time, like, especially if you're in New York, you can run on multiple party lines. And I think that's the best way to get people to understand that they can vote for Working Families Party and only vote for Working Families Party and give that third option. Yep, so I love it. Sure. And especially in New York, I work with a lot of the Working Families Party in New York. And
they have the fusion voting there. Here in our city charter, very quickly, I'll just say there are 2 seats on the city council reserved for a minority party. Basically, since 1952 to 2019, that party was the Republicans. In 2019, Kendra Brooks displaced one of them, and then 23, she ran again, and my boss also ran. And now there's only one more Republican left, because in the Northeast, they're doing Northeast things, respectfully. Anyhow, that out of the way. I think the last thing I'll say to your question is that the coalition building in the cultural space is often the hardest thing, because especially for a third party, which rough prospects in America generally, and you usually need a unique legal system to make any sense at all. You know, the cultural actors are in such a space, and their funding since COVID in the city has been so shaky that they got to go with everybody, which means they need to solicit a lot of support from across the political spectrum, which has you in rooms you don't always want to be in. I'll say. usually not deeply compromising, but it's kind of just being at the same function with folks, right? So I think it's actually the overall challenges that local artists, cultural workers, media workers are facing that is making these, especially when you're in cultural spaces, it's making the room way more politically diverse. So it's the adverse effects on that economy is actually bringing people together in a weird way. Not always together to like actually start going to the work, but everything starts with being familiar with somebody, including in politics. Being familiar with the face is still just as important as, doing it in the music industry or in art or whatever. So a little bit on coalition building and how it connects to cultural politics.
You look. Oh, I was gonna say because I said your face
right
said
now,
there's some things where you're like.
I have a lot of thoughts because that's really what I do at Rolling Sea. You were one of our content creators for that. So
you're actually my first actual partnership deal I ever
had.
So thank you for it's a full circle moment. Thank you.
I love that.
Yes.
So our whole thing, we have one of the biggest Black social impact content creator programs in the nation, to the point that everybody wants to copy us, and they are. They're not doing it very well.
Yep, say that.
They're not doing it very well.
You said I'm a blueprint.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, you really
Never
are.
to be duplicated.
Because the big thing is that a lot of the folks that do, I will say democratic politics, because I can't speak.
Clock it.
But they don't pay a lot of the Black content creators, and you can speak to that probably as well. Our main thing is to make sure we pay our content creators, because there are white content creators who are multimillionaires, and there is a gap in content creator economy, and that is how people get to that next plateau. So paying people for their expertise, not policing what they say. Like, we never told y'all what to say. Y'all say what y'all want to say. We will roll with it. That's how it works, and that's how culture works. And sometimes when you're dealing with white folks who control the dollars, they want it to fall in a way that it needs to. And that's why it's very important that we invest in our own things, so we can say the things that are culturally competent for our own communities. But I will also say, on the political side, with the artist and those in the culture, they always go to the presidential. And that's been our hardest struggle. I'm like, the executive branch, sure. But you know who's actually making the laws? People on the local level, people on the congressional level, in the House. Like, they're the ones who are making the laws. Engage with us, because we're the ones who are doing everything. Like, we just send stuff to the desk and they do it. You guys saw right now with SNAP, and also us holding out on the House side on SNAP and healthcare, and then the Senate folded. Right? And we're going to call it a buck. They folded like cheap paper fans because there is not that many of them. So they don't run elections as much as us. So they trust each other more. I don't know why. I do not know why. On the House side, we run elections every 2 years. So the trust is very minuscule. And we also know they lie. We know they lie. They're not going to do it. They're going to wait until this year to really bring it up so they can say, oh my God, we did this great thing for healthcare. You did not. You didn't.
So they were the messy girls who stirred the pot and then said, what you talking about? I don't know
what you're talking about. So I would love for artists and content creators and folks to forget about the presidency, not forget about it, but really focus on your House and local elections, because those are the things that really govern your life.
Well, yeah, I think now we've gotten to a point where the door-to-door knocking, the canvassing around the neighborhood is the creative economy, yes. Right? Like the social media campaigns, we have taken a shift, and I think it's something that our parents' generation has not fully grasped yet, that that's where the real reach is. People have also just got comfortable living in their silos post-COVID. Mm-hmm. So niggas don't want to answer the door. Like, why are you on my block? Yeah. Who are you?
Who are you? Who's your parents? Where the parents at?
Yeah. Brittany, go get the gun.
Where the mothers
at? And so we do have to now make a shift to empower people to advocate in new ways. And I think that's where we really got to tap into the young generation, because we're all so young and vibrant up
young,
here.
Vibrant, dashing. Okay. Yeah. Equally
young and vibrant.
It depends.
Yeah. But really tapping into that creative economy is now how we move to the canvassing, how we move to the engaging locally, which is the work that the Working Families Party has been doing.
And I'm gonna have Jordan. I'll speak to what you spoke about a little earlier in terms of the content creation, and then I'm actually gonna have Jordan introduce something that he's doing with his team in the office as well. But I would say, like, even for me as a content creator, I had to become strategic on when people engage with me. Primarily, they're looking for a form of education and like Black joy. So I understand what most people are looking at. But I was even thinking around like you have been the Rolling Sea Action Fund has been the blueprint on how I negotiate with any further like political partnerships and because
make sure you get paid because we paying.
Oh no, and that was still
I'll be shaking my money for some dollars.
Largest,
okay?
that is my largest check. I said, period. No, it's truly and honestly, but for it to come from y'all, and then I remember like I was told as a podcaster, already as like a Black podcaster, like your brand is risky. And for me to say good morning to niggas and niggas only every morning, they said, I don't know if that's gonna resonate, da 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 da. But I remember just kind of being like, hey, I'm like leftist, I'm all of this stuff. I was very explicit with my politic, but y'all were still just like, yeah, but you don't need to change that because your audience already trusts you. And so we see the value that you were able to add. So even being able to see from another Black organization, Black-led organization, to still keep that agency and autonomy was like super important, which is where I think a lot of mistrust becomes to happen, because right now with influencer culture, people don't know if you're actually giving a valid opinion or not. They don't know if you're just saying this because you're chasing the check. And so there's almost a space of like, no, you're just a marketer for what they are doing, versus being, you allowed me to be a storyteller, not a marketer, in terms of like, I was already talking about misinformation and disinformation, but for you to be able to elevate it even further with that platform, it made even more sense, because it actually did help a lot more on the local level, because after doing the video, more people were in my DM saying, wait, what's disinformation versus misinformation? And even being able to define that was super important. So that's when I had realized even more like, my platform had shifted into much more as a space of a resource, and taking my daytime, I'm an educator, but even in the content creation world, I say you helped me position it as like content creation is an active service, not necessarily always like a self-aggrandizing thing. And so I position it that way. So I want to give you your flowers on thank you for that, because you really solidified in that way. Yeah. But I even want to talk around a little bit more on the local politics efforts as well, because Jordan has an initiative he's doing with Nick O'Rourke's office as well that is really engaging some local creators. So can you talk around the initiative that you're building out?
There were so many good jumping off points in what you just said. Yeah, so many. I think the one I'm going to return to, and we will. The one I want to return to, I think, is the point about people being brought on to be storytellers, not marketers. Because when you are trying to engage local content creators, from my position, you're also engaging constituents. You know, folks who ostensibly, ideally this isn't the case, but if they needed support with being rehoused, they could, as we're talking about doing some content, they're also like, by the way, bro, and then I'm the connection to PHDC, PHA, et cetera. Even though PHA wait list is going to take 3 years, so that's not not the emergency response. Anyways, but what I should say is that right now we are doing this initiative. It's a policy initiative called Affordable Philly Now. Affordability is this big buzzword of the moment, as if it didn't exist before Zoran popped on the scene. It did. But, you know, you got to go with what you know. And since it's something that is becoming a buzzword, we're trying to really carve it out as a distinct set of policies in the city of Philadelphia. I could, but will not run through all of them because that's not what y'all are here for. I'll just say that a lot of the strategy is really around getting it in the media, getting some organic energy behind it. 2 of the policies are charter changes, which means you have to go to the ballot box to support it at the polls, and a Democratic vote in a local election is going to be what makes it the law. So it's also a policy platform that's about wrapping people in to their process more so, because we know people want to fight Trumpism, but you don't always get an opportunity at every level. Our federal electeds are mostly staying in place, save for Dwight Evans and co. But, you know, these are not competitive seats on a bipartisan level anyways. It's going to be Democratic. So people need more spaces to plug in. And the connection, I think, between your work and what Marquise is doing is that I'm doing this thing called a creator shadow cabinet for this initiative. We're creating content through the course of it in new ways. Also, because this is a media first initiative, I've been blessed with 2 interns, which, amen.
Such a blessing.
Such a blessing. And shout out to them, wherever they are. I don't know what they're doing. But it's basically about a working group of sorts of local content creators Marquise being one of them. If you know the Account Streets Department, Conrad Benner, he does the public art stuff. A few other folks, Philly Girls Brunch, the ladies behind that, helping out. And these are folks that kind of got introduced to our work through the WFP more properly also in 2024. Everyone was doing their independent expenditure campaigns. I know you know all about that. Yes, I do. But it's a space because people are still learning how to work with the government, still learning what terms are correct, and we're still learning as well. This is a new media space, this amorphous social media-based creator space. So what we want to do is have it be a space where people can discuss their work, talk about the collaborations they have going across the landscape, what they might want to do with each other, and then also be an open forum for me to continue to ask questions about what is worth it to people. Because while we very much believe in paying folks, I don't hold the money bags. That is the WFP. I work for the city. I do not work for the WFP. And so there's a very clear legal distinctions between that, including who can sign the checks. Yes. So we want to be very clear about that with folks. And payment is definitely always going to be on the table, but I don't know if we have your money bags.
No, I don't really. So it's so funny you say that. It was so hard my first cycle, election cycle, to start this because I had to convince a bunch of rich people to give me money to let me do some black stuff so we don't stop losing and backslide into non-democracy. And it's still hard. It's still hard because even with the CBC, I know some people are like, what they even do? We do a lot. However, the members of Congress even have to fight. Like, it's so hard for a black woman candidate to run in a competitive seat. She's diminished. She doesn't get the same money. Black men, same thing, but at least you guys are men. So you walk into that room as a man, and a woman is like, you have to fit into whatever mold they think you should be. And so it is hard. So although I have more money than the average, we don't have that much.
That is good to know. And I know that when you're talking about those white creators becoming multimillionaires, typically not the CBC paying them. So you're right that wider networks.
No, we don't. We have actually some white content creators who would like to work with us, like Jolly Ginger. He's a good white. He's a good white. You know,
shout out to the good whites.
No, because we need a few of them to talk about our issues at their little races as Thanksgiving and Christmas and Hanukkah and whatever else they're doing. Like, they need to talk about how racist they are and check their family because
Kwame Ture.
Because we need to infiltrate these systems through these ways because we are not the messenger to talk to them about how racist they are. They don't want to be racist because they don't think they're racist because they're like, what are you talking about? I got friends that are black. I got friends that are Arab, but you don't want your daughter or your son or whomever, them to date them. So what are we talking about?
But we have to, so part of it too is we now have to teach people what it means to advocate. We everything is so aligned by the old guard that like this social media space, this creative like advocate space doesn't really exist in the brains of most people, right? So not only do we need to infiltrate for the good whites to talk to the rest of the whites, right? But we also have to infiltrate the old guard and teach them that like there's other ways now that you can be civically engaged. We did like talking about social media literacy, talking about literacy in general, but
the babies ain't reading.
But also just how to understand what this current platform looks like, right? Yeah. As we haven't even had a chance to define what world building is, right? Yeah. But it is being able to creatively rethink the spaces that we now occupy and formulate it in a way that suits and fits us, right? And so in order for that to happen, we have to like have young people go into spaces and show that like, yo, ain't nobody outside, right? Like, here's how I talk to people, right? What are the analytics on social media actually mean? And how does that now translate to community and civic engagement?
But
I just be doing shit.
Shut up, nigga. I'm gonna tell him more. But more so on his Substack, he actually talks around the whatchamacallit, intersection of night culture, what did I say? Nightlife. Oh my gosh, I'm out here. Nightlife Yeah, night culture, nightlife.
Make sure you
We out
get
here.
more Leroy's Blend. You feel me?
You
You
feel me?
gotta
Yeah,
get
get
that
into it.
caffeine
Thank
in your
you.
system.
Right. I said, yeah, give me some more. But I love how you talk around how this is a space to kind of rethink how we can engage in social and cultural and political work. And so what you do really uniquely on your Substack too is being able to have these discussions that kind of feels like it can take you back to the blog era a little bit in a sense. And I want you to kind of talk around that a little bit more, because you do talk around how the blog era also introduced you to so much more when it comes to hip hop culture, when it comes to pushing thinking a little bit more. And I see you as becoming one of those architects who do that, not only with the unique kind of events that you are bringing to Philly or the DMV, but even more so of like, you're literally curating the spaces because you're also the MC of these events. And so you are literally engaging with the audience directly and being able to kind of make sure, how do you bring that energy about? So what is that space kind of like for you as you're thinking around liberation or even yourself as a creator?
Yeah, we just need to bring back degeneracy. I'm so dead ass.
No, we do need to be degenerate.
Yeah,
like, you
like-
need the lights off. You need to be funky. You need to have the eyelash off the side. Like,
Get into
like
it.
heels in the hand.
what I'm
If you
saying.
still cute at the end of the night, you win.
You need a walk of shame. Like, we need all of this. We need this, right?
Because the kids don't be having sex or drink.
Or drink,
Or
right?
drink.
And the numbers show that lack of engagement, that lack of willingness, excuse me, to engage in, I guess, like left of center behavior shows that you now don't have the confidence to try something different,
Yeah.
right? And so we need people to get back outside, do some dumbass shit, and now be a little more confident in themselves to now try and like move into these different spaces. And that's kind of the thing I've been like navigating in the nightlife space, is that the ways that we create community through, you know, holding your girl's hair back while she's throwing up in the bathroom.
Oh, yes. Wow, the times.
Through, like,
I woke up with a piece of toast on my face one time
yeah,
in the bathroom. It was
the
great.
old days of yearning where you're making out in the
I
club.
had to sober
like,
up. Mind your business.
Like all of this shit brought us to spaces where us as a generation, we're like, I don't need to do the same old shit. I don't need to move in the same way. I have the confidence to do shit that everybody else might deem some wild nigga shit, but it's okay,
Yes.
right? I feel grounded in moving to that left of center. And so I think like through the nightlife space, really charging those people who are having, you know, who are coming home drunk and high from God knows what at 4 a.m., still not ready to go to sleep, sitting on the couch, talking about any and everything as they get sober in the next day, looking at those notes, and there's some real shit underneath all the muck, right? We really have to get back to being in our lowest points with our closest people, right? Because now I have trust and faith in the work that you're going to do, in coming from Maryland on a snowy Sunday morning to sit on a couch and talk to a bunch of people, telling them, yeah, do a bunch of drugs and drink all night so that you can now reshape the world that you want to live in, right? Like, I have confidence that you're going to create that space, right? Because we've had those days. Yeah. I have trust in you for what you're going to cultivate, because we've had these conversations in your lowest moments and in your highest moments. Right. We no longer have to be performative around the people that we've created community with. And so now we can get out on the ground, boots to ground, and like really do the work, because I've already done the work. You've seen me looking disheveled, right? And so now I like when I feel low, I know that my man's gonna pick me up. And like that's what we have to get back to.
Now, he might try to fight me a while.
That's irrelevant.
That's irrelevant.
Take his mic away.
It's here.
Yes. The performative nature is something that I think opens up a lot. Like, I was in Nigeria like a couple years ago. We
Flex.
go back and forth to the continent. It really isn't, though, because the same price you're paying to go to Mexico is the same price it takes you to get to Nigeria, actually. And I just remember going out. Well, because you're probably going during when? Right, exactly. You're going during dirty December. And the flights are more expensive then. But if you're going not during dirty December, the flights aren't that bad. But like, just thinking about going out and being out in community and then coming home late, and then you're just talking. Just talking all the way till 6 a.m. because you were out being a degenerate, eating your suya, and having a great old time. And I just thought about that time and like being in different places and spaces with other people of color, Black people, brown people. And it's just like, wow, the way that we are performing in America does not serve us at all.
And you have to live to create. Sorry,
No,
but like
you do.
You can't. In this space of me, I guess accepting that I'm a writer, right?
You are a writer.
Yeah. Again,
Be who you say you are. You are a writer.
Yeah.
You are.
No, we're not doing
writer.
that. We're not doing that right now. We're not doing that right now.
You are a
We're not doing that right now.
A little cultish vibes. I like
It was a little creepy. Everyone drank the Kool-Aid now. But in this space, like the creative thoughts don't flow when you're just sitting in solitude at some random ass coffee shop, right? You have to get out and live, right? If you're an artist and you're painting, you have to get out and live. If you're a photographer, ain't nobody trying to look at the furniture. Ain't nobody trying to look at your couch, bro. Like, go outside and take some pictures.
Your couch isn't going to teach you how to navigate.
Exactly.
That's what couch not.
We have to live. We have to get out and live. We have to get out and be around people. We need those diverse spaces. We need to continue to read, to engage in more diverse thought. And the only way to do that is to be present in the world, right? And so, yeah, why not be present and drunk and high?
You know,
I concur.
This
Do
makes so much
drugs.
sense.
I do. I do believe everybody needs to do drugs.
I'm gonna give you a safe list and,
Safe
and
list.
an unsafe list. Okay. And that is public service. Public service. But I did want to say, because Mr. Levon Wax sold me this record for the camera, this is the first annual benefit concert for the Congressional Black Caucus. And I also learned that apparently they don't do those anymore.
It's not legal. You can't. It's a lot of things you have to pay for, like legally. Ethics tells you can't do that no more. And I'm gonna tell you why that happened. Actually, it became because the Democrats and CBC, we got too many cool people.
It's true.
Like, think about Trump and like that Madison Square Garden fiasco. He had freaking Kid Rock. Who the F1 and C Kid Rock? Like, let's be clear. Like, they don't have enough cool people on their side to even do that. So they make a lot of ethics to where we can't pay for that out of certain chambers.
SZA said, why don't you go play your MAGA music?
Right, go play your MAGA music. Like, why you got this over ice? Like, nobody wants. No. But there are ways and mechanisms through those independent expenditures, through those C4s, where now we can pay for artists and they can volunteer, but there have to be through a mechanism, political mechanism, which they did to confuse us all about all the language. So we do not get these cool things again. And now we're doing them again because now we have the money and the resources and we have lawyers and all those things to get us there. So
found
that's
our way
why.
back.
So that's a little history lesson about why that doesn't happen anymore.
So thank you for selling me that record.
Absolutely. I think
No,
it was-
you mean so
Yeah,
I
hold
can
up.
get it off of you and I will buy you two
in
other
Largo,
records.
Maryland too. So, shout out to the DMV, shout out to Pretty Girl County. Yeah.
Not Pretty Girl County. Anyways, we're gonna go right past that. Just to bring it back home, like literally and figuratively, we're not talking in my office about a congressional race. We're talking about like bills. We're talking about, the owner of this space, the proprietor here, was talking about how there's a tax change for sole proprietorships in the city, which many of the Black-owned businesses are, most of them are. Then this tax change is not being well communicated by the city. It is December. It is basically tax season, especially if you're trying to get out the way early for a sole proprietor. And so they don't know that this exemption for the local business tax has ended. And what we need to do, going back to that word creative economy, is knowing that this is where everyone doing that is often a sole proprietor unless they're very established as well. So, as we're having these conversations, and ideally the vision for the shadow cabinet is that talking candidly about what government can offer, talking about beyond payment, what we can offer, talking about the content we're creating in-house, and also trying to get some feedback, obviously trying to set up some collaborations. That much should be clear. But then I think the last piece that's really important is just making it an open forum to talk about what the space is looking like in general, the upturns and the downturns, what matters to folks as constituents and as creators. And, you talked to so many sole proprietorships in the course of doing this, setting this event up. We got a couple, I'm sure not some soul, because the boys with some perfume in the back. It looked like at least a duo back there. So, but doing some great work.
No, I definitely think about
let's say
that.
the brand Arem. Am I saying Arem right? There we go. And that's what I heard, so I had to.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
It really be your own people.
Really do.
But last note is just they sold me some perfume called Chocolate City for the last DMC tie-in. Real heads
It
no.
ain't even Chocolate City no more. It's Cafe Olay. It ain't
man.
chocolate no more. It
They
ain't
be
no
like
chocolate.
corners.
No, the corners are gone too. The
You guys
corners
got
are
it.
gone too. Remember the Metro PCS? He don't even play music no more because them white people acted a freaking fool. He's still there, but he don't play the music like that no more. Like I remember, I remember because I used to live down that block and I used to go to that beauty island right above. And I used to walk by and hear that music.
Oh,
He
you
don't
was
play it
outside.
no more.
Yeah, I like this.
I am
Yeah, you know what I mean? I
learning.
knew I was getting close to that beauty supply store because I heard the go-go music, but he's been scared and people been asking him, like, why don't you do it? He said, I don't want to deal with them and what they're doing.
And that leads me into like my next transition, honestly, to be able to round this out. And audience, you are now going to be allowed to ask us some questions as well. So you can come up to the hot seat if you would like to prepare
Not the
to
hot
ask
seat.
a question. It's easier to pass the mic that way. Yeah.
That's fair. Okay.
However, though, we wanted to anchor the rest of this conversation on the idea of world building. And we've all talked around different tenets of world building, whether that's condition making, coalition building, whether it's like we need to shift the culture in a particular kind of way. There are plenty of folks in here who have been able to do that differently. So we have someone like Eric in here who runs the Black Queer Premiere podcast here in Philly. Yeah, get into it.
big dog.
Hung up pod over here. Yeah. Right. And he said, and I'm ready. Right. But then you also have, I don't know, Kamal, where you at? DJ Maul, DJ Damas,
The DJs.
the DJs.
Shout out to the best vinyl tag
Yeah.
team duo in the fucking world.
Yeah, get into it. Yeah.
I don't know where they're
Okay.
at, but they're probably getting
They're
everything
ready.
situated for later today.
But what Kamal's also doing is also subverting a space, right? So we have the space like a Fiddler Club that does not often welcome Black and brown individuals into the space. But for him, he was able to really curate a space where he's like, I want to create something different for the city that might not just be, and nothing against the hookah lounges, that might not just be hookah lounges and
All
honey
right, not
punches.
too
No
much,
more
not too
strawberry
much.
Hennessy's.
No more strawberry Henny.
All right,
Or
no. Why
Henny
are you
Peaches.
attacking my culture?
no
Why
more-
are you attacking
No
my
more
culture?
grass
So
wall,
sorry.
no more neon lights.
I didn't know you were such a hater attacking my culture. That's
And now
insane.
you're
absolutely.
learning.
I love a hookah. Hookah mommy, okay?
Period. And we ain't even mad at it.
Period.
But in reality, though, it brings us all back to something where we have a set of common values. It brings us back to a space and an environment where we're around people who foundationally we may feel aligned, and there's some things that we have some nuances on, but we might just be like, we both want the same thing. How we get there might look different. 9 times out of 10, that tends to be what it is. And so I'm wondering for y'all to end off before the audience asks y'all some questions is like, how would you define world building for yourself? And then how have you been personally been able to kind of enact that space? Does that make sense? Yes. Per. You can have some time to think about that if you need some think time. You got it?
Yeah.
Oh, period. Get into it.
I think first off, it's showing up authentically as yourself. That's a word. That's a big word for Elmo.
That's a big. That's a big word for Elmo. Balsamic vinegar.
That was hilarious.
That was a great quote.
Because Elmo's black, if y'all didn't know.
He is actually black. The art.
Oh, kill, really?
No, really. The voice actor is black. He
From
actually went
Philly.
to Maryland.
From Philly?
From Philly.
Philly really
to
be
Maryland.
doing everything. This shit is
Sesame Street. Jim Henson.
yeah.
He went to University of Maryland College Park.
Oh, okay. But I think it's showing up authentically as yourself, right? You have to have a full understanding of who you are to then emit that out into the world and into the spaces that you curate and create, right? Because then you can't cultivate real relationships with the people. You can't have real conversation. And I think that's the foreground, like that's the foundation of how we world build, right? We have to have a full understanding of who we are and I guess who we want to be in the places we want to go, to then put that out into the world and be the foundation for the places and spaces we curate. Because then you get to literally just do things with your homies, right? There's no better feeling than getting paid to bring a thought to fruition with the people you love, right? That's what world building is, right? The people that are in this room, from DJ Damas to Maul to this nigga,
Man, my God. Wow.
to Cody, to all these people, right? These are people that I've been able to amass hundreds of people in a room and make bread, but also like really cultivate joy and Black liberation in spaces, right? And that's only because I showed up authentic in those spaces. And so I think To answer the question, it's doing a deep dive and understanding who we are, understanding your politic to then be able to effectively communicate that to people, to then set the charge to go outside and act, right? But you can't do any of that until you really know who you are and have the confidence to show up in spaces as just that, right? Every job I've applied to, I walk in with a full set of gold teeth in my mouth. yeah. And if you're not gonna hire me, then I don't want to work there. I'm good, nigga. Like my resume speaks for itself, right? But if you're making the judgments based off of that appearance, then I'm cool. I'm all right? But if I go into spaces and am accepted and understood outside of just this general appearance, that's where love lies and that's where the liberation exists. So yeah, that's how we world build.
That's a very good answer. I always operate in a space of abundance rather than scarcity. And when you move with that as Black people, I always think there's nothing I can't give to you because I'll get it again. And so even if it's getting somebody a coffee, if it means like supporting my sister or my brother or whomever, that's always what I rock with. And I always have it from a Black lens and Black liberation. I believe that we really are, especially Black Americans, I really believe we are the soul people. We are the ones who give soul. We create culture. We shape culture. It's this quote in the Blacksonian that says, God created Black people and Black people created style. And I really do take that in everything I do. So if I'm out and I'm going somewhere where I'm going to be photographed, or if I'm going to be at work, I always try to make sure one piece of my outfit is Black owned, because you can't see something you have never seen before. So right now, like the dress is Black owned, the belt is Black owned, my Teflar, obviously my Tefeezy is Black owned. So I try to make sure like, oh, I really love your outfit. Great. Love this outfit too. This dress is by Hanifa. She's in DC. This belt is Sergio Hudson. You should also develop in that instead of making sure.
Say their names.
Yeah, say their names, seriously, because we put so much high premium on white designers in a white man's name or a white woman's name, but we don't put respect on our own names. And that's something that me and my fiance do very diligently in our home, that if I'm not going to wear no white man's name across my chest. And I used to really believe in that. And it's called decolonization of your mind. So when I operate in these spaces, especially in the bookish space, anything that I bring to it is how do I bring community in third space? So right now we have this event called Lo-Fi and Lit, where we disconnect to reconnect, is with lo-fi music and like speakeasy type of environments. Everybody brings their book. I have an author come in, we have a conversation, and then everybody reads and kicks it and eats. We're also going to do hookah. And I know you hate that. But period.
Easy on them, please.
Because hookah or cigars or whatever, and you bring a book. And you bring a book and we're just kicking it, have a book exchange, and then you're reading it. You got your hookah, you got your cigar, you chilling.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but like really, what it look like when you in the club, Joe?
This cannot be the point
crazy,
you wanted to make.
Why are you going against our ancestors? Why are you going against our ancestors?
There's a point there.
Yes,
No, yeah, because he's a hater. Because hookah is great on the continent. And also when you go to Arab countries, you got to go where the source, you got to go where the source is. You know what I'm saying? But really, that's what I believe in world building, making a world you want to see for yourself. Even if you don't see it yet, it's because you have to create it. So don't be scared. Even if the first time, I remember I did Pages in the Park. That's another thing I created, where we just go out and we read out in the park. We're drinking, we kicking it. We got blankets, we're bringing food. We just kicking it. We're just kicking it.
I've been to that.
Oh, really?
Yes, in Baltimore.
Yes, that's me. Oh, shit. Yeah, that's me. So, yeah, we do Pages in the Park and we just kicking it and we just chilling, because guess what? You just want to kick it in nature with your friends who like to read too and do reedy, ratchy things. And guess what? After we do that, we go get drunk. We go get drunk at our local bar and we just go get drunk and have fun. But it's because I always wanted to do it and I did it. The first time I did Pages in the Park, like 2-4 people showed up, but I kept going and I kept going and I kept going. And now it's 60-70 people. And that's how you start. Like, I think this instant gratification that we're in right now, we got to chill with that. We got to build it over time. And then also, like, I will bring my he hates when I do this, but I bring my fiance up a lot because I do think he is a world builder in his own right. He brings grants and his knowledge of things like that to other people, so we can all be wealthy in spirit and financially together. Because why would you want to do fun things and everybody around you broke? No, but I'm not even just talking about financially. I'm talking about with spirit. Like both. And we don't talk about that enough. I'm not even talking about broken life. I'm talking about broken spirit. So bringing that all around brings your world of what you want to see. So yeah, that's what I believe in world building.
I'm going to let you know one thing about me. I love a good alliteration. You said reading and ratchet. You said lo-fi and lit. I was talking on the
You like
Nerd.
it? Ow.
That was a great answer though, and the alliteration works for me. As a comms director, you need it. You do. You need to find something that has some rhythm in it.
That's why Jasmine Crockett is so famous, because she the alliteration queen.
I have questions for you about that one. We'll talk about it off the camera.
If you ain't into, yeah, well, I was like, God dang. I said, my God today.
And that's, anyways. Someone just was, and I should say, my boss is also a pastor. It's a little bit less degeneracy, because if it's not City Hall, it's being in the congregation. So,
Balance.
so it's about balance. Yeah. So, and when it comes to world building too, I can't help but be so concrete, because we are literally working on local policy we want to see implemented in the near term every day. So I think for us in this moment, as it relates to this conversation, it's so much about making sure people feel like their government is not this distant thing that operates in the ether. We're supposed to be more public than what you know is going on at Target or what you know is going on at your Poppy store. Like, we're supposed to be more public than that. So it's about making people feel like City Hall is the people's house, which is a challenge because of how they act in there sometimes. But it's hard. It's hard to make people in a depoliticized moment. I'm even thinking about this record still. It was recorded in 1974. That was still coming out of the civil rights wave of benefit concerts, which, if you know, that made so many things happen for so many people, and really powered the world that people were building on the ground in that space and time. And it's hard to say there are as many routes into that today. And like you're saying, you got to kind of build it, and they will come in many ways.
I think Brandon Scott does a really good job with that in Baltimore. We have so many festivals.
I'm very jealous.
Yes.
So jealous.
I live in the United States of Maryland, and I'm so sorry for everybody else.
Somebody comes to council and says they live in the United States of North Philly, and they say it every week. Anyways, and that's their business.
See, that's their business.
And that is Black American excellence right there. So it's about making people feel like they can actually walk in the door. They can actually talk to someone with the city government. Our team, last thing about my boss, he's 37, which makes him the second youngest council member. Yeah. And he's also the oldest person in our office. So we are a Zillennial office, head to toe. And it really matters. I think it makes a difference when we walk in, because when it comes to politics, you need to feel like somebody's approachable. And he hired me with this hairstyle, which, shout out him, because not everyone would. It just helps when you have somebody who also, even though he might not join you in all the degeneracy, he understands its purpose, even as someone who's a little sanctified. And it does help a lot.
Saved too.
No, Jesus. Jesus turned the water into the wine,
It
and
wasn't
he
the other
flipped
way
them
around.
tables
And
so
Jesus
people
was
acting
hanging
up.
with the hoes and the hookers. I'm saying
It's true.
He was outside.
Okay. And
this is when we take the mic very, very, very much.
some people
so.
are still in church, though. Some people are still in church because somebody's passed to go along.
I'll be in church.
So, amen and amen again.
Yes.
Okay.
And pass the biscuits.
Truly. And so the last thing I'll say is just that world building is super complicated when it's super concrete, and when people already know your world exists and think they can't get in it. So you have to find ways to continue to be an open door. Content is just one way. We are also doing neighborhood canvases, even though you're right. People do not show up to their door no more. And when they do, it's like with the strap. People have experienced that many times. But that being said, it's about, it's part of why I'm here, because you're supposed to continue to find spaces and places where people who really care about the creative economy. Last thing on my boss for real this time, he's actually the chair of Council's Committee on Global Opportunities in the Creative Innovative Economy. So we are especially, tasked with being in this space and engaging people who do this work. And it's really been a fun challenge to try and work out because you're talking about near-term change, medium-term change, and you're talking about the long term, especially for someone in WFP. You know, they want to supplant one of the major political parties with time. So super long term there.
This also gives space and time for some of the folks in the audience. This isn't just us going to be talking at you. We want to be in dialogue. Ooh, Eric, come on up, because come on up. But if you do have a question, feel free to come up and prepare to ask the question. We'll leave about 15 minutes of that, and then we will have time to transition into our lovely Love on Wax event, which means we're going to see
Love on Wax.
Yeah, shout out to Love on Wax. We're going to have some DJs spinning vinyl, and you'll still be able to shop all of these black vendors up in here as well. So go get your smell good, your feel goods, go look good, taste some goods, listen to some good music. Try some coffee, try some tea, all of that good stuff.
Buy some good music.
Buy some good music. Okay, we're supporting local here. We're supporting black.
I don't know why you keep showing my vinyl.
Right.
It's actually making me mad.
He's doing it as a personal attack on you.
Mad. Yeah, the first time it was cool.
It's an
the
attack
second
on
time
you.
I'm like, oh, so you want to fight?
That's he was gonna pick it up.
And now we both can't have it.
Crack it. That's we both ain't shit.
Some people might be tired. Some people might be rejuvenated. Some people just might be curious around whatever is going to happen next, right? But now is the time for y'all to really just engage in this conversation with all of us. And Eric, thank you for kicking it off as well. And so what question do you have for anybody on the panel? Any other questions? Anything that you're like, oh, can you lean into this more, or something that resonates with you?
Yeah, for sure. Right. Appreciate it. Loved it. Thank you all for this. I wanted to kind of like have you guys open up a little bit more about, you talked about canvassing kind of in the beginning and how it's a really good impact. It's a positive impact on the community. I'm a volunteer with the Division 16 Democratic Committee. We also acknowledge that canvassing still works. A lot of people don't think it is. They think, knocking on people's doors annoying to them. Actually, neighbors seeing their neighbors showing up to talk to them about issues that's impacting them all in the community actually still works. But you also pointed out that there's a gap between our more like elder generation and the young folks. With canvassing, because we know that it works, one of our struggles reaching the young folks with canvassing is that most of the young folks are renters. They live in apartment buildings, and we do not canvass in apartment buildings for a couple of reasons, mostly safety. Some weird and crazy things have happened. So we don't canvass in apartment buildings. So what are some of those, what do you recommend? How do we bridge that gap? Is it social media engagement? Is it canvassing in a different way? Is it community events that are centering our young people? What are some ways that we can bridge that gap?
Nah, that's a good question. And I want to kind of check myself, right? I'm not saying that canvassing didn't work, just saying that we have to acknowledge, again, similar to what you said, that we might have to make a shift to make sure we're reaching all people. I think in these, especially I call them adult dorm rooms, but like all of these apartment complexes, no disrespect to anybody that lives in them, because they have the amenities are really nice, and then like you have a grocery store on the bottom floor, you never have to leave, right? But I think in those spaces, I've noticed a few in DC. There's a complex right at the Fort Totten station that like everybody lives in DC. Yeah, it feels like everybody that's ever DJ. Yeah, right around the corner. Yeah, there's like, it's like everybody who's ever DJ'd or promoted or anything lives in that same complex, and they do weekly events, right? And they like have the little rooftop deck, and they have people out there. They sometimes have vendors. I think those are the spaces to creatively think what it means to I guess canvas, but also like be tapped in directly with the community, is hosting events. I also think about a Working Families Party. Marquise brought me over because it was also like around the corner from where I lived. The happy hours.
Straight from me too. We good.
Yeah, there were these happy hours that Salah was putting together, right? And it was dope. I got to meet so many different people that were engaged in so many different ways, and it really wasn't like to charge people to go out into their communities, but it was to let people know that we're here, right? And I think that's the first step. So making space for just to convene, just to build community, just to get to know each other, right? Because that's what canvassing is, right? I need to know that like my the people that are representing me are actually directly right here in my community. They're accessible. I can touch them. I can talk to them. Right. So going into spaces and doing just social events, which can be done in those apartment complexes. They're usually looking for things because it is a lot of younger people, usually a lot of transplants that move to a city and don't know how to engage with people. Like that's the perfect space, especially for the people that are so transient and don't really own or whatever.
I think what we're missing too is just meeting people where they are. So my friend was the campaign manager recently for Mary Sheffield out in Detroit. They did cigars and conversation. So they just went to a bunch of different cigar bars because cigar bars are very big in Detroit. To the point that my dad was at the cigar bar and FaceTimed me and he said, "Hey, boo, I'm here with Mary. You know her, right?" I said, "Yes, Dad. I know Mary." And he's like, "Yeah, you know your friend. He over here too." I said, "Hi, Chris. How are you?" I said, "Dad, can you stop doing this? This is embarrassing. I work with these people." But he was like, "No, I'm about to tell everybody to vote for her. She's so cool. She's so that." So then he just turned into a mini canvasser, right? Because he was so connected. And he's like, "I never seen anybody elected official come here before." We also do Essence Music Festival, like every year with the DNC, with the DCCC, with all the acronyms, all the Democratic acronyms, but also the Louisiana Democratic Party. So if people want to get involved and they want to go canvas, hey, you can do it here. And we have an offsite activation that we also get people there too. And we're going to probably do Culture Con this year. So it's like places and spaces that we already know Black people, we already convene spaces. It's just reaching out and asking those conveners, hey, would you mind if I set up like a voting reg table to just tell people what we're doing? People don't mind that. And they will come over and tell you all their political opinions. And that's all people want to hear. It's just like somebody is listening and hearing them in those political spaces.
That was awesome. Thank you, Eric, for the question. Yeah. Come on up. You said you're also Jordan. Yeah. Jordan for Jordan. Got it.
Jordan for Jordan.
Yeah, so it's Jordan Prime here, original.
Wow, Jordan Prime is insane.
No.
Yep,
I appreciate all of y'all being here. I appreciate the thoughts that y'all have and the work that y'all do on the regular to make space and resources for people who are trying to do more and get more engaged. So just want to give y'all all props for that first.
Thank you.
I kind of wanted to jump off of a little bit more of your point around authenticity, and definitely get some more of your viewpoints around resources as a result of that, because I think authenticity is one of those words that's really tough, because like it's authentic that I'm having a great time in this space, but it's also authentic that I gotta go to work tomorrow and I don't want to go to work, but like I can't talk about that 24/7. You know what I'm saying? I gotta also be, just gotta be able to enjoy the moment, relax, and I guess I want to tie that into the question of ultimately like, how do you coalition build? How do you have that focus be around, community and action and ultimately doing something, but pacing yourself in the way that let's enjoy this, let's relax right now, but we also need to continue pushing, because as much progress as we've made for as long as we fought, we still technically haven't ever really got there. So like maybe we need to do something that we've never been doing before. And I don't know how much that relies on like, how much can you keep pushing on saying we're not doing enough before that's like too much?
Yeah, whatever. It's funny enough, I always say like my politic is an extension of how me and my closest friends interact with each other. And so if you can extend on how you and your friends are, like Amanda's lived with me, Cody's lived with me, these two in the back, and I'm so sorry that they had to live with me in some spaces because I am not always easy to deal with. I got an attitude in the morning, okay? Contrary to mind your business. No one asked either one of you, but I just, we out here. No, but in reality, though, they are able to see my most authentic self in those quiet moments of like where I don't want to be bothered or where I do need to disconnect, or if I just need to turn on to my safe show and just like disconnect in that moment. But they still are able to show up in a particular kind of way and still love on me. So they love me despite. But I was thinking around as well, what are some of the resources that we're able to give to each other, right? Like Cody was here today, able to take some photos. Amanda was able to, well, she laughed at me yesterday for busting my ass in the snow, but we'll talk about that later. But in reality, she also provided some emotional understanding for me as well, right? Elijah and I talk around like those quiet moments where we're both at our lowest. Friends, when I was broke, they were able to help me pay my rent for 2 months, right? And so how do we engage in emotional mutual aid, financial mutual aid, and all of that? So when you are thinking around the condition making, where we're thinking around how we want to build a politic that's an extension of us, I'm like, cool, how do I care for my friends? And how can we translate my nerd ass is like, how do I translate that into actionable policy? But how do I create the conditions at least around of like, all right, at least y'all don't have to experience the worst of the world because we actually have a circle that's part of each other, right? I went to the bodega the other day, or Poppy Star for the Philly people. I went to the bodega the other day. Sorry, Kobe, not too much. But the one dude, I was sitting there ordering my breakfast platter, and he was like, bro, I don't want to be weird, but like, is your name Marquise? And this is one of the stoop niggas, like general people that like, they on the stoop every single day. I know where they're going to be at. If they're not there, something's wrong. Truly and honestly.
That
but
felt problematic. I don't know why.
It felt a little problematic.
It's like the stoop kid.
Yeah, it's a stoop kid. My bad. But they the black guys. But because they're on the block, a lot of the time they see me go back and forth to the bodega. But the dude found out he's from my hometown of Reading, Pennsylvania, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, like yo, Keith, da 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 da." The other day, the one dude was just like, "Yo, I actually follow your content." And if you look at this guy from the outside looking in, you'd be like, "Now, what the fuck are you doing on my side of TikTok?" I have no idea. But it was actually really dope because this was like literally 2 days ago, and he was just like, "Nah, I appreciate what you be saying, this, that, and the third." And so now the people on the block that I just say hello and good morning to on a regular are now folks who are just like, "Yo," they just call me Teach on the block. So they're like, "Teacher Doc." The common niceties that we tend to overlook a lot of the time can also just build that connection, because now they were like, yo, well, I can't make it to this one, but the next time you have something, I would love to be able to show up. And that's a demographic that I would love to have a little bit more in I would like my content to interact with a lot more. I didn't even know it was interacting with them. And so now they trust me even further because now they're just like, oh, you're actually approachable and not just online. And that to me felt a little different. So I'm thinking around digital world building and how that translates into this physical space, right?
I also want to just jump in because I think about the very real fact that you have to go to work tomorrow, right? I think about when I quit teaching in the middle of the year, at the lowest point of my life. That was crazy. At one of the lowest points of my life was because I showed up to work every day as Mr. Ray, right? I wasn't authentic to myself. I felt like I'm in front of these students in Camden. I need to put on this mask and be the professional teacher, right? And so that shit got exhausting. And I was not able to show up as myself, nor was I then able to give people at my job an opportunity to learn who the real me was and to be able to share resources or show up to spaces like this because I didn't know it was happening, right? It wasn't until I think maybe 3 years ago, I was at BMEC, the Black Male Educator Convening, and I saw one of the teachers that I taught with in Camden, and he was like, yo, nigga, I've been following everything you've been doing. That shit's crazy. I didn't know you did any of that. It was like, yeah, because I showed up, kept my head down, cried in the car a little bit.
Listen, I love a car cry.
Yeah, and plus I'm a Cancer. It just happens. Just, you know?
Look at this.
I'm a Scorpio, so the water signs is supreme.
Yeah. Big water gang, nigga. Sorry.
Cancer, Scorpio, Cancer.
Yeah.
Oh, the water signs are
That's right.
up, period.
It's important to, when you talk about showing up authentically, right? It's coming into those workspaces, being your full self, to give people an opportunity to share the resources or support you in ways that they never would have been able to imagine, right? Because it alleviates some of the stress about having these multiple worlds, right?
Yeah.
It gives you a place where all these things can start to converge, because now I can engage people at my job in the other things that I'm doing. Like, so far gone is this, like, having to present like in this mask professional space, right? You can still, professionalism is how you define it, right? Yes, there's still stipulations, obviously, like working in particular spaces. But how many times have you seen like somebody with hair like ours working in the political space, right? Like there's
a lot in DC.
Well, yes, okay, all right.
That is true.
But I say that to say, like, give yourself the grace
of showing up authentically and being your full self in those spaces, because you never know, one, how you might inspire the other people.
Yes,
two,
that's the most important.
You literally give permission by saying
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
We talk about representation, especially in the classroom, and they were like, "Oh, well, we need a black male teacher in order to help." Like, but you can't just be black. You need to like show that there's the breadth of being black, right? What is it? What does your blackness mean, and how does that align with the random student that never seen a black man or black woman that moves in the same way you do, right? And I think that that's what I mean by authenticity, right? In all of the spaces that we show up is kind of giving yourself the permission to do that, so you now give other people the permission to tap in with you.
Yeah, if I could add, like the thing I'm doing with the Creator Shadow Cabinet for this policy initiative is all about being clear that I don't know all the contours of this space. It's about creating a forum for people to be able to talk about the deals they're making with other folks if they feel so comfortable to do so. Be authentic about what some people are going for, what some people aren't, what people want access to, and what they might not have. So it's a space completely about learning together, both from people who are doing it as their side hustle, full-time business, me doing it on my side from the city side, trying to help promote a politician and promote policies. You know, that whole initiative is about being candid with each other about the challenges of working in this new media landscape. Yeah, so it's not too hard for me because I'm 27 and because I have not done this for years, 2 years into doing this work.
I'm also 27.
Of course you are. I'm not going to question that.
Now, why the hell are you up here lying? Yes. Why are you why up? You lying?
We all do.
Just lying.
No,
and I'm 15.
But what was I going to say? Last thing is just like, it's about being clear about knowing what you don't know, being clear about that when you can be. And it's easier for folks who are more tenured with the city to kind of, if not holier than thou, definitely given the fact that you have to work with the public information, always walking around feeling like you know everything, which is not also the way to open the door. And so it's been an instinct. It's not been too hard for me to fight because we are not the insiders. We are like the insiders outsiders a little bit, which is okay. I actually like it that way. Listen,
it's okay. I got a corner office at the firm too.
Amen.
It's okay. I'm still in there. But for you with burnout, because that's what you're really talking about, burnout.
Yeah, well, it's really trying to not burn out the coalition, because there's obviously a point where it will hit burnout, but you can pace it in a certain way. It's that pacing that I may have and put on myself is not necessarily the pace that a coalition would need.
And that's okay. And that's why you build your coalition, right? Because they might have different pacing and they can pick up where you might fall, because you can't do everything. You're one person. We're not machines. And that is the capitalism design, to think and work as if we're machines. And it's also the American design to make it seem like Black people are machines because they use this that way. So that takes you taking a step back and being like, hey, I don't feel it today. And that's okay. I have a decompression shower every day. Whenever I'm at work, I'm like, listen, I might have to hit this edible real quick. And I need to go in the shower and just have a shower and just not think. The book Rest is Resistance really did a wonder for me to really realize that I'm not meant to be a machine. And it's okay to tell people I ain't feeling it today. And that's also okay. So if you need to take a personal health day, if that's in your, if you're allowed to at your job, if you can, take it.
I take a break every now. I don't mean to stop.
No, but really intentionally take that break. Like you said, you're 30, you're 10. Yep. Working that in is amazing. Like sometimes I just wake up and I have a slow morning, and that's good. And just make my coffee, be intentional. Just be intentional with everything you do.
No, thank you. Yeah, okay. And I think that was a beautiful way to be able to transition into the second part of the program now. So once again, right. Thank you to this panel. Thank you, every single one of you. Jordan, you are wonderful. Jordan, Niccara, Elijah, please give them a round of applause for this panel. Yes.
Hey, give yourselves one, because this is wild.
Look at that. And y'all made it. Heaven would have made it. Come on. He said to go to church. And so remember, please make sure that you are shopping with Diamond Times. You're going to Door Paris. Love on Wax is about to get us started with some jams. So please make sure you stop by Elijah's table for them $5 vinyls and the vinyl slip mats as well. Head to fragrances, get into it. Make sure you get your smell goods as well. And not last but not least, your luxury press-on nails for the everyday baddie. Make sure you go to Quesadilla Nails as well. Talk to them, get to know them. Door Paris right there. So you know if you're not a coffee drinker, get some tea. The tea is fire. Please get it. But in reality, get to know somebody new. I really do charge everybody in this room to try and make one new connection. This could be your future collaboration. We can find you 40 seconds doing some new news for us too as well. If you're other content creators in the room, find ways to collaborate. Meet your next friend, meet your next partner, whoever that is. Thank you all for showing up today. Thank you for celebrating 1 year of Leroy's and having this black ass.
Yeah, can we give it up for Marquise?
Yes, let's give it up for him.
Yes, but I am eternally grateful for every single one of you. Thank you so much for being such a wonderful community and group of people who pour into me. I hope I can equally pour back into each and every one of y'all, whether that's by a cup of coffee or just in general, and some fun and some laughter. So get to know people. Alex, one more time, thank you for being a partner this entire year for this space. You already know, one of the ultimate community people. Not truly and honestly. Okay, you said a good way. Yes. Good way. But he said, I'm doing my part. I'm doing my part.
We appreciate you for being in community with us, brother.
But in reality, Alex, thank you for being such a good partner. This is my 7th event that I've thrown here officially, which is dope. Yeah. And so, yeah, we're going. We're moving into quarterly next year. Okay, we are
to Maryland.
And we're going. Okay. And already we'll be able to kick off one more time. Spill the Beans will continue on into 2026. It will be shifting into a quarterly space. And so we will be kicking off Women's History Month as well. So a couple months then we'll have an all women's panel as well. So I'm excited to be able to organize that. Alex, thank you for being a great partner. Shout out to BVP Coffee as well. But I am so excited. If y'all turn and give your attention to DJ Mo.
Can we make
DJ
some motherfucking noise for DJ Mo and DJ Donovan?
Yeah. And
Coming to represent motherfucking Love on Wax.
Thank y'all so much. And then go ahead.
DJ Donless.
We need a Love on Wax sound drop.
Yes, they're gonna get my license.
Welcome everybody to Love on Wax.